당신 마술을 믿습니까?
Hi and welcome back. In a world filled with choices, it can be difficult to find the right thing to watch. If you're a fan of fantasy, then you're in luck. Here are the top 10 best fantasy web series to watch in 2022. Number 10. Shining Vale. From the city to a small village, a family moves into a home filled with terrible circumstances. Patricia, however, assumes she's either depressed or spirited. She discovers that those ideas are one and the same. Pat is a former wild child who found popularity after writing a scandalous sexual health-themed women's empowerment book. 17 years later, she's clean and sober but unfulfilled. She hasn't penned her second novel, and her children, Gaynor and Jake, are at this point where they strongly wish their parents to select death. Pat was a faithful wife until her one slip-up. She had an illicit affair with the hot young laborer who came over to repair the sink while Terry was at work. In a last effort to salvage their marriage, she and Terry sold off all their savings and moved the family from the crazy city to the historic house in the suburbs with its own history. Shining Vale has a 6.9 rating in IMDb and an 86% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
God, why?
Number 9. Wolf Like Me. Each person has his or her own set of baggage in tow to a new relationship. Gary and Mary are no different from one another. Gary is an emotional wreck and finds himself incapable of providing for his child after the loss of his wife. Mary has a secret that she doesn't dare share with anyone. They came together for a reason and need to just keep following the signs. Wolf Like Me has a 7.3 rating in IMDb and a 90% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
You just have to make sure you feed the right one.
Number 8. Night Sky. The series revolves around Franklin and Irene York, a couple of people years ago who found a strange chamber buried beside their backyard. They've had their fears carefully guarded ever since, but when a mysterious young person enters their lives, the Yorks' quiet existence is instantly upended. And the strange chamber they once thought to be well acquainted with turns out to be much more complex than they ever could have imagined. Night Sky has a 7.4 rating in IMDb and an 82% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
Here in this house with you?
They control everything. It's just a way to protect the secret. There's more of those, by the way. A lot more.
Number 7. The Sound of Magic. Yona Yai, a high school student who finances herself and her younger sibling by working part-time jobs, does not know where her parents are. Debt collectors drove her father away from home, and then her mom fled too. Yai wants to be an adult as soon as possible to have a stable job. Her classmate Nai Il-deong competes with Yona Yu for the top grade, but they begin to develop feelings for each other. One evening, she finds magician Lee Yule at an abandoned amusement park. The Sound of Magic has a 7.7 rating in IMDb and a 91% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
당신 마술을 믿습니까?
Number 6. The Time Traveler's Wife. It tells the story of Henry and Claire, a love story with a challenge: time travel. Henry is a librarian and has one rare genetic condition that allows him to time travel. On the other hand, Claire is an artist. Henry hopes to lead a normal life, but his visits to the past and future leave him at odds with his spouse, which produces amusing and other compromising scenarios. The Time Traveler's Wife has a 7.7 rating in IMDb and a 82% in audience score in Rotten Tomatoes.
I think I'm going.
No.
I love you.
Why is love intensified by it?
Number 5. Vice Versa. Talay is a talented recent graduate. He was given a certificate indicating his new job as a colorist and is delighted to receive this confirmation. Unfortunately, on the beach trip with his friends, Talay drowned, only to awaken in another world, within another man's body. He was told that the person is called Tess. Tess is a troublesome, spoiled, rich child. In this hospital, Tale meets another nurse from a parallel world as well, who has also transmigrated there. She explains the existences of the two worlds and stresses the need to locate the keystone. She also reiterates that it may be the case with Tale and the key. As Tale reaches out to Tessa's friends, he comes across a primary school friend, Tun. On meeting Tun, Tale comes to recognize some peculiarities and realizes Tun's soul has migrated to the other world as well. Tale understands that this new guy reunited with him also came from another universe. After Tale and his new friend locate and return their port keys to each other, their connection is strengthened. Will they meet again and recognize each other in the same universe? Vice Versa has a 7.8 rating in IMDb.
ทุกคนแม่งก็แค่ทำไปตามความรู้สึกของตัวเองเท่านั้นแหละว่าเราสองคนอะข้ามโลกมาเรียนรู้อะไรวะ
Number 4. Tomorrow. Choi Jeon-wong seeks employment, but it proves hard for him to obtain or employed. One night, he witnesses a person attempting to take his or her own life, and he stops him. He reveals himself to Grim Reapers Koo Ryan and I'm Ryon Gu, who perform a task as a crisis management team. Their essence is to prevent people from taking their own lives. Jeon-wong ends up in a semi-conscious state and becomes half human and half spirit, and this company trains him as a member of a crisis management team. Tomorrow has a 7.8 rating in IMDb.
주마등에 온 걸 환영합니다.
Number 3. Again, my life. Kim Hee-woo did not begin with his present profession as an inexperienced graduate high schooler. His rigid, methodical, and persevering actions led him to the pinnacle of an impressive career as a lawyer. Throughout the course of his studies, he is required to conduct a raid against an ambitious politician suspected towards acts of dishonesty. However, his exploration is suddenly terminated when a strange guy takes his life. However, he will eventually rediscover his living state and return to his studies once he is able to identify the circumstances that led to his death. He will have to have his academic life reinstated while he searches for more information as to why he nearly died. On his journey, Brian meets Kim Hee, an exceptionally successful young woman who is the youngest daughter of a wealthy business group. Kim Hee-woo and Kim Hee begin to wonder who was responsible for Brian's death, but as the investigation progresses, they uncover that a secret cabal of business leaders may be involved. Again, my life has a 7.8 rating in IMDb.
대통령이 있는 겁니다.
천하를 손에 쥐겠다.
천하를 쥐어야 조태석을 막을 수 있으니까요.
Number 2. Ghost Doctor. Sha Young-min is a genius surgeon, but his arrogance and selfishness are a bad combination. One day, he is in a car accident, and due to his unfortunate circumstance, his spirit assumes the body of another doctor. Sung-tak and Xiao Young-min are two completely different doctors who happen to have similar personalities and medical abilities. Young-min is dark and aloof, only caring about his career and not caring about any of his own patients' personal stories. Sung-tak is the luckiest and most well-endowed resident physician whose grandfather is the founder of Myeong Shin Hospital and whose mother is the chairman of the hospital. Never wanting to be deserving of being a physician, he is taken up by a ghost doctor. Ghost Doctor has a 7.9 rating in IMDb.
바디 렌탈 메디컬 고스트 닥터 1월 첫
Number 1. Ruby and the Well. As a student at grade school, Ruby O'Reilly, 12, and her father Daniel were upset when they found out that the orchard they inherited in Emerald, California, called Apple Hill, had dried up. When they arrived, they found that the area no longer existed. It seems hopeless until Ruby discovers an enchanted wishing well on her property and becomes its new keeper. Ruby in the Well has a 8.1 rating in IMDb.
Figured out how to make your world a better place.
Do you like this video? Check others' videos here and subscribe to be notified about our most recent videos. See you next time. Goodbye.